let's go ahead and get this thing rolling, boys. Let's go ahead and get this thing rolling. Where's the chat? Um, do 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 do. There we go. There we go. We're up. We're up. The Rev, what's going on? What do you think? What do you think of Holloway of Oliveira being confirmed? We just posted a short about that. I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome. I was watching the what's it called? Not ceremonial. Whatever they call it, the press conference. I just casually turned it on and they said they had a fight announcement and they started saying Brazilian. I was thinking, oh my gosh, Alex Pereira's about to be fighting Cyril Gane. It ended up being Charles versus Holloway. I love that fight. March pay-per-view headliner, 326. I think it's going to be a great fight. And honestly, I cannot wait to get there because I don't know who I'm going to pick, bro. I don't know who I'm going to pick. Originally, I'm thinking Holloway's going to piece him up, right? But then I start having second thoughts, man. You know, is Charles's chin gone? Maybe. But then you start thinking, oh, well, Charles has crazy power too. Holloway just got knocked out 2 fights ago. But at the same time, Charles is a much, much better grappler than anybody that Max Holloway's ever seen. I know they fought one time before, but that doesn't even count, bro. And at the same time, Oliveira's strong, bro. He's not one of these casual 145 grapplers. He's Charles Oliveira, bro. I don't know, man. I don't know. What's going on, everybody? What's going on? Oh, should I turn on the press conference? Aren't they or not the press conference? Hold on. Should we watch this real quick?
Two titles are on the line at UFC 323, but before the bantamweights take center stage, these two flyweights might.
The champion, ladies and gentlemen.
I forgot this was on. We can watch this real quick if I want to.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the two men involved in the main event of the evening.
I forgot about this. Oh, crap.
When I start MMA,
the ceremonial.
I cannot even imagine me fighting
Let's watch this
UFC.
real quick.
Now to be UFC champion and defending my belts and breaking records, this is big deal for me. And I'm not going to stop anytime soon.
2025 has been the year of Merab Dvalishvili. It's remarkable to think back to January when he put the belt on the line for the first time against Umar Nurmagomedov.
This guy
we can just see what Merab says, guys, when we talk about the fights.
There is no one like him.
Merab Dvalishvili has broken George St. Pierre's record for the most takedowns in UFC history.
He is a monster.
Did he vanquish Sean O'Malley? Beat him better this time, submitted him.
That's real tight.
That was crazy. I still cannot believe Merab finished O'Malley.
He may literally be the greatest bantamweight we've ever seen.
I think he is. He's not even out of breath.
Merab Dvalishvili is already fighting for the third time this year.
Sandhagen nearly down.
He's fighting the most dangerous guys every time, and he's dominating them.
Most takedowns in a title fight in UFC history.
And he intends to fight again at the end of the year.
I'm defending my UFC belt 4 times in this year because I want to make another record. Nobody was able
Merab,
to do it,
bro.
but I'm
Merab's
ready,
a beast, man.
I will do my best.
Merab is a beast. 4 title fights, 4 title defenses in 1 year is crazy.
Piotr Jan for a second time would be amazing.
Jan's tough too, though, but we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Который набрал Мераб, те победы, которые он победил, но хочется забрать пояс и.
Why is Holloway Oliveira main? Because they're big names, they're massive names. I think Holloway gets a done decision. Okay. If Charlie can get the back, then he might pull off a sub. Don't trust his chin. I like that. I don't think Charles has a chin for it anymore. Max, I'm kind of leaning towards Max, but we'll see.
It's just overwhelming.
323 has no height, Max. No height.
And Merab turns back Piotr Jan in impressive
326 was announced, guys. Charles versus Max. For the BMF.
Но просто факты моих поединков последующих показали, что я здесь.
I guess Pantoja and Van already walked out. I guess we missed that.
He still is one of the elite of the elite.
That's what Piotr Jan is.
Piotr Jan back in a major way tonight.
All right, bro, come on. Dude, Jan has got to be one of the most exciting fighters to watch, bro. At least for me,
Я
one of the
также
most entertaining fighters for me because he's
быть
so
в
slick.
следующем гонке за титул.
The trips,
И я
the
верю,
boxing, he's got some
что
good kicks,
у меня
man.
есть все для того, чтобы его победить.
He's a very complete fighter, bro. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough.
Я уверен, что я для него не тот соперник,
Hasbullah
которого
Senior,
он
man.
думает, что
Hasbullah
это
Senior.
будет для
Can he get it
него
done?
легкой прогулкой.
Before our first fight, he was trying to disrespect me. He said I was zero. I beat him, I punch him, I take him down.
Marab dominated their first fight.
But this time, I wanted to be first to finish him.
I mean, it might be a little bit closer this time around, but Marab, think of how much better Marab's got
I will do
since
everything
then.
to win against him.
Victory for Merab Dvalishvili.
Marab evolves every
Я
single
хочу
fight.
его победить.
I don't know
я
if we
хочу
can say the
нанести
same
ему
for
урон.
Petr Yan.
Я вижу, что я смогу доносить свои точные удары, от которых у него начнутся огромные проблемы, и в конечном итоге он сломается.
I know he's dangerous, but I'm going to fight hard. I will find a way to finish him. It's gonna be
This is a long
but the best guy will win.
intro or
and
whatever.
I'm the best.
I do find it interesting that Jan's getting this off a win over Marcus McGee.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, for
I mean,
all the
yeah,
marbles in the
but he
bantamweight
also he's on a little win
division.
streak now. At least he's on a win streak.
Challenger,
He
the
beat
former
Figgy,
champion,
and
No Mercy.
he beat Figueiredo, Marcus McGee, and Sonya Gong. Those are 3 good wins. He was on a losing streak prior to that, but I think he's earned it.
For the challenger.
He should have never taken the Marcus McGee fight though.
And his opponent, the reigning, defending, undisputed
I didn't even get to watch the press conference, guys. Is this fight getting heated? Is it getting heated at all? I genuinely don't know. Marab, you gotta love Marab, man. You gotta love the guy.
Official weight 135 for the champion.
Can't believe Petr Yan's taller than somebody, guys. Can't believe it. Okay, a little intense, Marab's pumped. It's like a kid.
Ladies and gentlemen,
It's like a
out here
kid,
with the
bro.
challenger, the former champion, Petr Yan. This is an amazing opportunity for you for revenge from the first fight, but also an opportunity for you to reclaim your belt. Give us your thoughts on what this means to you and what's going to go down tomorrow night.
Hi guys, я знаю, да, Мераб дерется дома, вы его поддерживаете. Для меня это огромная возможность, огромная мотивация доказать саму себе, что я являюсь топ-бойцом этого дивизиона, поэтому я здесь сегодня.
Listen, guys, yes, I understand. This is his home. You're supporting your boy. But for me, first of all, this is an opportunity to prove to myself that I am still the top of this division.
Good luck to you, sir. The challenger, ladies and gentlemen, Petr
There's
Yan.
Petr Yan, man. We'll see what
I'm here
Marab
with
has to
the
say.
champ, the machine.
What's up, everybody?
Marab, you're on
He
a
loves it.
legendary
Fans
run
love
right
him now.
A record
Fans used to hate
run,
Marab.
And you have an opportunity tomorrow night to beat this man, Petr Yan, the former champion, and defend your title. Give us your thoughts on what happens.
I will show him true meaning of no mercy tomorrow.
No mercy indeed. Good luck to you, sir. The champion, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, that's it. That's it.
Thank you all for coming out. We will see you tomorrow night.
All right, guys. All right, let's go ahead and dive into these fights, man. When's Casual FC next? We're going to have to run it. What do y'all think? Should we run it Tuesday? Or should we run it Friday? Sometime next week. Next week, we'll have it up. We'll have it up next week. multiple people asking. Imagine if McGee won. Marab versus McGee. Main evented. That would have been crazy, bro. There was no reason for Yan to take that fight at all. No reason at all. McGee was ranked. He had to have been ranked. What was he, like 11? Was he ranked? I think he was. Y'all want it Tuesday? All right, we'll do it Tuesday. Casual FC 7 on Tuesday. What? Yo, what's that? Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. Tuesday. All right, guys. All right. The main card. This card is getting zero hype, bro. Whoever said that is so true. Let me move this up here. Let me center this up, guys. Hold on, gang. Oh, wrong way. Make sure this is nice and centered, bro. All right, we'll do that. We'll do that. But yeah, this card's getting no attention, no love. Merab versus Jan. It's a hardcore fans fight, but people are not paying for a pay-per-view to see Merab versus Jan. That's just the reality of it. Same thing with Pantoja Van. These are two good title fights to put on the same card, because if they were separate, they're going to be two low-selling pay-per-views individually. So you might as well package them together, have it two title fights. Even though, look, like I said, we're all excited for Pantoja Van. We're all excited for Merab Jan, but as a standalone event, as a standalone main event, Pantoja versus Van is not selling you any pay-per-views. And Merab Jan isn't either, bro. We got Miranda versus Tyra, another banger matchup. Really excited for that one. Cejudo. Can Henry Cejudo bounce back against the young bull, Peyton Talbot? That's an interesting fight as well. We got the old crafty vet Jan Blachowicz trying to take on Bogdan Guskov. Oh my gosh. Blachowicz is the favorite, bro. Blachowicz is the favorite. I thought I was going to have a crafty vet pick here. I thought look, I'm picking Blachowicz. I'll go ahead and tell you that right now. But I was feeling confident. I was feeling like, you know what? We're going to have an underdog pick. We're going to go with the crafty vet to pull off a crafty vet performance. Jan Blachowicz over evil Anthony Smith. But it looks like the odds makers are on Blachowicz as well, even though he's 54 years old. But anyway, Merab versus Jan, guys. What are we thinking? What are we thinking? Because I know what I'm thinking. Can I make this card? I'm always open to suggestions, bro. Always. There's a Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett press conference. Yes, we watched that. That's where they announced Oliveira versus Holloway. Y'all are excited for the card? I'm excited too. I'm not overly excited, but I'm decently excited. But yeah, sometimes when these cards don't get any hype, look, I don't want to jinx anything, but it seems like when these UFC pay-per-view events have zero hype or little hype, they end up over-delivering. Think back to Bilal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena. Nobody in their mind, no casual fan, no regular UFC fan was like, bro, are you watching Bilal and JDM this weekend? Nobody was saying that. But I think that's the fight of the year, bro. I still think that's the fight of the year to this day. So hopefully we can get something similar. Merab versus Jan, bro. Talk about predictions, man. To sum it all up, to be very, very simplistic, well, first of all, we've already seen this fight years ago. Jan's gotten better, sure, but Merab has also gotten better. There's nothing we've seen to pick against Merab at this point. I don't care who he's fighting. There is nothing we have seen that would actually logically make me pick against Merab Dvalishvili. You've got Piotr Jan on the other side, who is a very well-rounded fighter. He has great striking, some of the best striking probably in the UFC. But he doesn't have crazy knockout power. I don't think his stand-up is going to be much of a threat to Merab, because Merab, like I said, we've seen them fight. Merab fights at a crazy pace, crazy pressure. He has no respect for people striking. His striking itself is getting better and better each time he steps into the octagon. Jan, good takedown defense, right? Great scrambling ability. He's a great anti-grappler. But on the other side of the octagon, you have Merab Dvalishvili, who fights these Olympic world champion wrestlers. These great, fantastic anti-grapplers, right? What does Merab do to every single one of them? Does Merab have all of his takedown stuff? Yeah, sure, against Aldo. He still won that fight, by the way. Merab finds a way to get you to the ground. Merab is the most physical bantamweight I've ever seen. He's 5'2". I still cannot believe, bro. I cannot believe Jan has a can't believe Jan has a height advantage, guys. Piotr Jan has a height advantage in the fight, guys. What are we doing? But yeah, Merab, domination. You know what? There'll be some close rounds potentially. Look at what Merab did to Sean O'Malley, bro. Sean O'Malley does not have the grappling experience that a Piotr Jan does, but he's a longer, rangier, more dangerous striker, and Merab ran through him. There's not much else to talk about in this fight, bro. I'm going to be real. In this specific fight, Merab versus Jan, if Piotr Jan First of all, I'd be very, very surprised at a knockout because Jan does KO people sometimes, but he's not a knockout artist. I'd be very surprised if he knocked out Merab. Do we honestly see a world where Petr Yan outpoints Merab? It's not likely, bro. It's not likely at all, and submission is off the table. Jan's not subbing nobody in the UFC. He's not subbing Merab. So you're saying likely your best bet is that Jan, who's not a knockout artist, knocks out Merab Dvalishvili. I don't think it's happening, bro. I don't think it's happening. I think Merab, honestly, I mean, a 50-45 is obviously not off the table. I think he very well could 50-45 Jan. Maybe Jan. I'm going to go Jan gets a little bit of momentum in one of these middle rounds. I mean, 49-46 is the lowest I'll go, bro. 49-46 is the lowest I'll go. I'm not saying 48-47. I'd be surprised if Merab wins 48-47, to be honest with you. Merab's probably going to dominate, bro. Van by rear naked choke. That would be crazy. The chances of that happening are probably 0%. I'm going to be real. Probably 0%. But that would be crazy, man. That would be crazy. KO of the year 2025. Oh, what is the KO of the year so far? You know what I think? My personal bias, maybe because I was there, but y'all tell me if I'm biased. My personal KO of the year should be Mauricio Rufy over King Green. The spinning heel kick knockout was flawless, bro. It was beautiful. That's my personal vote. That has my vote for KO of the year. Also, I was there and got to witness it live. So maybe I do have some bias there, but I have a feeling the UFC, like if the UFC, I don't know if they already have nominations or any of that. I guess they probably wait till the end of the month. But I feel like the UFC is going to go Topuria versus Oliveira. I feel like that's what the UFC is going to do with KO of the year, man. I really do. Submission of the year. Shoot, I don't even know, bro. I don't even know, but I can just about guarantee you Merab Dvalishvili is going to be fight of the year. He better. There should be nobody above Merab for fight of the year, especially if he wins this fight. That'll be 4 title defenses in a year. Yeah, I'm curious to see what they do for fight of the year as well. We've had some wars this year. It's been a great year, man. Not as good as last year, I'm gonna be honest, but it's definitely Ili Uptoro. Uptoro was the first nominee for KO of the year. Where do I find that? Have they already released it? Have they already released the finalists? I don't know. I'm hoping for an up, down, light man war. Merab 49, 46, or 45 facts. I think there's a possibility of 49, 46. That's crazy. That's what's crazy to say, bro. There's a possibility of, Jan winning one round. That's what people are saying, bro. They did a short about it. I'll have to look into that. I might even make a video on that. Actually, yes, we're going to make a video on that soon now that I'm thinking on it. We're going to do our fighter of the year stuff. But yeah, Merab Dvalishvili by decision. Go ahead and lock it in, bro. Go ahead and lock it in. The odds are crazy. Minus 500, but I mean, can you blame him? Can you blame him? There's no reason anybody in the world should be picking against Merab right now. And have I picked against Merab in the past? Yes. Yes, we have. Yes, we have. We definitely picked O'Malley. But I'm not making that mistake again. I think O'Malley was a tougher test than Petr Yan. And I still believe that to this day. Moving on. We got Alexandre Pantoja versus Joshua Van, the second title fight, guys. I'm going to be honest, bro. I'm not going to say just as confident as Merab, but I feel very, very confident in this fight and my pick for this fight. I'm going with both champions to retain their title. I'm going with Pantoja, bro. And I'm not going to say a dominant decision, but, bro, I like Joshua Van. I've seen Joshua Van in person. These are my 2 favorite flyweights right here. I think Joshua Van's going to get subbed in the first round. That's what I think, bro. I think Alexandre Pantoja. You know what? Maybe second round, I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to go first round. I think Pantoja is going to show levels, and this is what's going to happen, bro. People are going to be like, oh, Joshua Van wasn't ready, or Joshua Van was a fraud. You're going to see these sad Joshua Van edits like he's not 24 years old. You got plenty of time, bro. You've got plenty of stuff to learn. How long has he been training? This is a simple question. Joshua Van, guys, this is something that does need to be brought to your attention because I understand that MMA grappling can be different than just straight up Brazilian Jiu Jitsu by itself. I understand that. I get that. But to put things into perspective, we know that Pantoja is one of the best grapplers, one of the best submission artists in the UFC. Joshua Van is a blue belt. Credit to Joshua Van. Joshua Van has gotten this far in the UFC, standing and banging, stuffing takedowns. But he's fighting Pantoja. See, there's a comment right there. I was just talking about that. Van's a blue belt in BJJ. Just something to remember. Pantoja subs him for sure. Exactly. Now, Joshua Van has shown great takedown defense up to this point. But we're talking about against a guy like, guys, I'm definitely about to butcher his name, but it's Ray Teixeira, something like that, okay? A good grappler. Is he Pantoja? No, no, not even close. Pantoja is known for slicing through these great takedown defensive guys. He's slicing through them like butter. Okay, he's taking down Brandon Moreno. He's taking down Brandon Royval. Who else? He's taking down Steve Ursay. He's taking down Kakar France and subbing him like it's easy. Kakar France. Let's not act like people were not talking about Kakar France's takedown defense prior to that fight. Pantoja, they didn't even look like they were in the same league. It looked like UFC versus PFL in that fight. That's what I think, bro. Is Pantoja going to retire champ? I don't know, bro. How old is Pantoja? Wait, how old is Pantoja, guys? I need to check this. Pantoja 35. Dang, bro. Yeah, this man Pantoja is 11 years older than Joshua Van. I don't know how much longer he's been training than Joshua Van. He's probably started training when Joshua Van was a child. He definitely did. He definitely started training when Joshua Van was a child. The experience, bro. Pantoja's slick. Pantoja, now I'll say this. I don't think he has the greatest entries all the time. But Pantoja is going to get you down. He's not relentless like Merab, but Pantoja will find a way to get you to the mat. His back control is some of the best I've ever seen. He's super, super slick, bro. Pantoja, this is the thing, bro. Of course, you can glaze Joshua Van's takedown defense all you want, but what do you think realistically is going to happen if this fight were to hit the mat even just one time? We're talking one of the highest degree black belts in the UFC compared to a blue belt. Man, let's not forget Pantoja has that grown man strength, okay? He's got the 11-year age advantage, man. Pantoja's going to win this fight, bro. Pantoja's going to win this fight. Merab, Pantoja, they both feel like locks. I understand nothing's really a lock in mixed martial arts because it's a fist fight. Anything could happen. I can tell you this. Pantoja's going to win this fight. I think Pantoja's going to sub him in the first round. I think, maybe it's possible we see Joshua Van stuff a couple takedowns, maybe stuff a takedown or two, maybe even 3. Fans start to get excited. Oh, Joshua Van's going to become champion. But we see this time and time again. We see a striker versus a very high-level grappler. And the striker, for whatever reason, guys, I don't understand, but we see it over and over, right? But the striker is not able to get off like they want to, or like we always see them. They're not throwing like they usually do. They're not feeling comfortable on the feet because, what do you know? Their opponent has this crazy takedown threat where Joshua Van's thinking in his head, I cannot get taken down. That leads him to getting caught with shots by Pantoja. Oh my gosh, is Pantoja now a better striker than Joshua Van? He's got the threat of the takedown. It's going to be in the back of Joshua Van's mind. We all know it is. We see it time and time again. You see it with Jack LaMaddalena versus Islam. We see it almost every time a striker and grappler face off. What's going to be different here? It's not like Joshua Van is just so much more experienced than a Jack Della Maddalena. He's not. Pantoja's going to win this fight, man. Pantoja, I also don't think Pantoja's physical enough, bro. Going back to that grown man strength for Pantoja. I don't think, did I say that right? I don't think Joshua Van's going to be physical enough, bro. He's a great boxer. He's got good power. Pantoja's got a granite chin. Pantoja's becoming a better and better striker each and every day. Pantoja dropped Moreno, man. People forget Moreno got dropped by Pantoja. Pantoja's got power too. Van Joshua Van 48-47 robbery and fight of the year. Look, I hope it's a banger. I think this fight's gonna end very, very early, bro. It's sad. I think that Joshua Van's good. I don't know if he's ready, man. I don't know if he's ready. It was already a massive step up fighting Brandon Royval, but it's also very different stylistically fighting somebody who just throws pure volume and is not going to hurt you on the feet, like Brandon Royval. And not try to discredit that win. That's different than being thrown to the wolves fighting the best grappler in the division, one of the best grapplers in the division we've ever seen, like Pantoja. We are going to piece up Pantoja and win the 125 belt. We will hear Anu and get our belt. I hope Joshua Van wins, bro. It feels like Pantoja's kind of entered into a flow state, guys. that was lame. That was lame. But Pantoja's on a roll, bro. He's on a roll. Momentum's a real thing. I understand Joshua Van's got crazy momentum behind him as well. But it's different. It's different when you're knocking off Kai Francis, Brandon Moreno's, Steve Ursay, whoever else he's been knocking off. Pantoja's been running through these guys. Joshua Van's knocking off Royval, which was great. Royval for Pantoja as well. Also, people forget Brandon Royval. Do we think? Okay, here's a good point. Here's a good point. Do we think that Joshua Van is a better anti-grappler or just better grappler in general than a Brandon Royval? I'm curious. What do y'all think? Because I don't think so. I don't think so. Not until we see that. Look, if Joshua Van just comes out here and has phenomenal takedown defense or even gets taken down, scrambles up to his feet, stays safe, keeps Pantoja off his back, we can talk about that. We'll have some different conversations about Joshua Van if that happens. Until I see otherwise, man, Joshua Van's going to get subbed in the first round. Maybe he can crack him. Maybe he's not going to be shy, I guess if that's how you say it, on the feet, worried about the takedown threat. But I think Pantoja's going to win this fight, bro. I'm feeling pretty confident about this as well. I think Joshua Van's going to, I don't even know if I'm going to say decent performance. I think Pantoja's that good. He's at a point in his career where he's streaking. He's looks unbeatable right now. He's been in some wars. I don't think this is going to be one of those wars. I don't think Pantoja's going to be relentless on the takedown. He doesn't want to sit there and strike with Joshua Van. And if he is forced to, which I'll be very, very surprised if he is forced to, Pantoja can strike. Let's not act like Pantoja is just a bum on the feet. Pantoja has outstruck some great strikers in the UFC. How do we view Manel Kape? Am I making that up? Wait. Now I'm tripping. Now I'm having second thoughts. Let me fact check this. I'm making sure this is Pantoja. Okay, yeah. We got it right. Did Pantoja not outstrike Manel Kape back in the day? I don't know, man. I see Van getting a worse beating than Kai France. I think so too. I think it's just going to be quicker. And Kai France is more experienced than Van, especially on the ground. Van's going to knock him out. That would be sick, bro. That would be sick. Once Pantoja does retire, I think Van will become champ. I like that. Yeah, right now, it's hard to pick against Pantoja. Joshua Van will do a spinning back fist knockout over Pantoja. Casual, we need to talk. Bilal Muhammad fan club. What's going on? I got news. Bryce Mitchell is the first to hold 2 belts in Casual FC, BMF, and CTEMF. Champion wants Oliveira. Okay. Bryce Mitchell wants Oliveira. I like it. Will you change the poster if Van wins? Change this poster, man? Look, this poster is near and dear to my heart, guys. Once I go to a pay-per-view event, or once I go to a UFC event again, like in person, then I'll change my poster. That's what we're doing. Y'all can't see it, but right here I have UFC 313. That was the first event I went to. UFC 318 is the only other event I've been to. So we kind of have a collection, if you will. It's not really a collection when I only have 2 of them, but I've been to 2 UFC events live. That's what the poster is, man. That's what the poster is. But yeah, Pantoja's gonna beat. Back to this. Pantoja's gonna beat Van, bro. Pantoja's gonna beat Van. This is my, I guess, second most confident pick on the card. You know, it feels like a Merab Pantoja. Not betting advice, not at all betting advice, but it feels like a Merab and Pantoja, a little 2-leg. Look, I'm not gonna say it. But Merab and Pantoja both I feel very confident they're gonna win. I feel very confident they're gonna win. Who signed the glove in the background? My man, Dustin the Diamond Poirier. We got a Dustin Poirier signed glove for Christmas last year? I guess it was last year. Yeah. I got my 2025 YouTube report, and I was your top 0.4% viewer. Hey, W Bilal Muhammad Fan Club, man. Shout out Bilal Muhammad Fan Club. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Taporia Ferguson headlining the White House. Imagine, bro. You know what it sounds like? Since they've announced Gaethje and Patty, I'm kind of wondering if it feels like it puts the UFC in a win-win scenario because either they get Patty versus Taporia, which is a super fight. It just is. I know Patty's not the same level of Ilya, but Patty Pimblett is a big star, whether or not you want to admit it. So Patty versus Taporia is going to be a massive fight. But on the off chance that Justin Gaethje does beat Patty Pimblett, you cannot tell me the UFC is not thinking in the back of their mind that, oh, we get an American to put on the White House card. We get to put Taporia versus Gaethje. If Gaethje wins, bro, I can just about guarantee you that Taporia versus Gaethje will be on the White House. And maybe if Patty wins, it'll be on the White House anyway, like regardless. But it's kind of a win. The UFC did a good job. They put themselves in a win-win scenario, and it's starting to make more sense. Like putting my mind in Dana White's mind, putting my mind inside the body. I'm kind of thinking from a business perspective, the fight makes more sense leaving out Arman Tsarukyan. However, from the sport perspective, Arman Tsarukyan should 100% have been in this fight. And I still believe that he should have been. But you're not in a win-win scenario if Arman Tsarukyan, if you do Arman versus Patty or Arman versus Gaethje. The UFC is going to say they're not biased, bro. They are. They are. Bilal got robbed in his last fight. Shout out Bilal Muhammad, man. What if you combine GSP Mighty on the Impossible Challenge to make it easier? Dude, we're on like day 40, bro. We're on day 40 or something like that. Do I need to start making some tweaks? I don't know. They ranked you as my #1 most watched YouTuber. I appreciate that, Bilal Muhammad Fan Club. W. You were the only YouTuber I watched. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, guys. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate that. I changed my name to this. I used to be the Daily Drift and the Life of Fighting, but I needed a new name, so it's this. Let's go. Let's go. All right, guys. This is the hardest fight to pick. This is the hardest fight to pick on the card. I don't know if y'all are feeling that. I think this is the hardest fight to pick, and it's tough, man. It's tough. It's tough. Tatsuro Taira looked absolutely flawless in his last performance, but it was not against a Brandon Moreno. It was against Park, Jung Sung Park, I think, if I'm saying that right. Taira's good, man. Taira's very, very good, but so is Brandon Moreno. Who's going to win this fight? This feels like a coin flip. If it was a 5-rounder, I would feel much more confident in Moreno. I'm not going to say much more, but I would feel more confident in Moreno's experience and just that dog in him. But I think Tatsuro Taira is something special in this division. Now, again, Moreno's more battle-tested. He's more experienced. He's more proven. He's fought great grapplers before. like I said, bro, I think Tatsuro Taira is different. I think he's not your traditional grappler. I don't know if I can even put it into words, man, without glazing. But Tatsuro Taira is special. Tatsuro Taira is sharpening his skills on the feet. He's got some rangy strikes, bro. Tatsuro Taira has some rangy strikes that I think could be a problem for Moreno because Moreno likes to, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, likes to float in there with the boxing. Moreno's his striking defense is not that. It's not special. It's not special. I think Tatsuro Taira is going to find success. He's also a very physical flyweight. He looks strong in there. Moreno, his scrambling ability, his survivability is pretty solid. But we've seen Moreno get taken down time and time again. I think Tatsuro Taira is just, I guess the word I'm looking for is just slick. It's almost like it's like not traditional. It's like not your traditional style of grappling, but Tatsuro Taira will find a way to take your back. He'll snatch up your back with the coolest sequence ever. And I don't think Tatsuro Taira is going to submit Brandon Moreno. I have trust in Moreno. I think that, like I said, the survivability, he's just a dog at the end of the day. I trust him to survive, but I think Tatsuro Taira, while they're fresh, while they're dry, I think he's going to be able to get this fight to the ground. And I don't think he's going to get a submission necessarily, but I think he will be able to threaten submissions. Don't think he's going to land crazy ground and pound, but maybe land a couple strikes. I think he's going to win a control time decision, to be honest. This is what I think. If Brandon Moreno can stuff the takedowns and make it scrappy, it's going to be very, very tough for Tatsuro Taira to win the fight. But Taira, he's got a nasty straight right. He's got some good power. Like I said, the threat of the takedown always makes you better on the feet. Tatsuro Taira is 25 years old, bro. I think. Something like that. He's very, very young. The odds are very close too. I think they got it right. I think they got it right. Brandon Moreno, this is weird too, because like maybe it's just me. I feel like people view Brandon Moreno as not washed, definitely not washed, but like he's not at his peak anymore. And it's very, very interesting because Brandon Moreno is only 31 years old. Now, I get it. Some people just hit their peak before others. But at the same time, Brandon Moreno doesn't look like he's at his peak anymore. I don't know if I'm the only one seeing that, but Moreno, he still looks phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. He just beat Albazi. He beat Steve Erceg. But there's some moments, bro, like I don't know, bro. He doesn't look the same, and I don't know if it was like he said he was taking time off. He never even took time off. But Tatsuro Taira is streaking, and he was dominating guys before the Brandon Royval fight, and he lost to Brandon Royval. So did Brandon Moreno. But it was a split decision at the end of the day. Tatsuro Taira, I think it was good for him to get that out of the way. Tough test out of the way early. Take your L. Close L, by the way. I think it's great to get that out of the way. He's fighting a guy like Brandon Moreno who is more experienced than him. I think Tatsuro Taira is going to be the fresher, quicker. I think he's going to have great entries. I think he's going to land some good takedowns, good control time while they're fresh, while they're dry. I think Tatsuro Taira is going to win a decision here, guys. I think Brandon Moreno can start to rally late, maybe second half of round 2, probably in round 3, though. I think Tatsuro Taira is going to get him down early. Might even have control time for half of the first round, win the first round. Second round starts. Maybe Brandon Moreno lands, a jab or two, a short hook. Taira's landing some shots of his own. Taira takes him down again in round 2. I think Moreno's going to build momentum in round 3, and I think it's going to be too late. Again, if it was a 5-rounder, Moreno could probably build himself back into the fight. I don't think he's going to have enough time here. What do y'all think on this fight? I'm curious, actually. I might put a poll. I kind of want to put a poll on this one. That's what we're going to do. I'm curious to see what y'all's thoughts are on this. This feels like a pretty close to 50-50 fight. I feel like a lot of people are going to be picking Moreno, and it makes sense. I don't want to say I have a hunch about Taira, but I think Taira is special. And I think this is a great test for him. Great test for him. I'm about to put a poll out. Let me know who y'all think. Who y'all think is going to win this one? Dang, what? All right. Y'all go ahead and vote on this poll real quick. I think it should be Tyra a fresh contender for Pantoja. Yeah. And if you want to throw that in there, does the UFC want to I mean it's a kind of a long shot, but does the UFC want to see Moreno versus Pantoja for the fourth time? I think. Or would they rather see a young potential global superstar from Japan, Tatsuro Taira? If it happened to come down to it, okay? And there's a lot of gambling stuff going on around the sports world, people getting caught, rigging fights, rigging sports games. If and I mean if it came down to a razor close decision, who would the UFC rather want to win this fight? Just throwing it out there, not speculating anything, just throwing it out there, okay? I think Dana White would rather see Tatsuro Taira win this fight. That's what I think. That is what I think. 71% Moreno. Okay, I like it. I respect it. I think if you're picking Moreno, it's a great pick. We'll have to see. Obviously, Moreno could have a crafty vet performance. It's crazy calling him a crafty vet at 31 years old, but he could have a throwback performance, vintage Brandon Moreno, beat up Taira, and then people would be like, oh, obviously Moreno won this fight. Or it could go the exact opposite. Taira could dominate, and people are going to flip the narrative and say, oh, yeah, Brandon Moreno's done, bro. He's washed. He's washed, bro. That's what the UFC does, bro. That's what the UFC does. But y'all think Moreno? I like it. I like it. I'm going with Taira. I'm going to go with Taira. We're going to take a shot on Tatsuro Taira. Again, I'm not trying to convince you guys who to pick or whatever. I'm just giving you my personal opinion, my personal thoughts. I'm known to be right. I'm known to be wrong sometimes. I'm about 99.9% right, though. We all can agree on that, right? We all know that. Oh my gosh, guys. This is a fight I keep forgetting about. Cejudo versus Talbot. 5'4". Cejudo is 5'4". I saw this. I really noticed this in the face-off. The height advantage, bro, is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. This is a good test for Talbot, though. This is a good test for Talbot. Henry Cejudo is not the same as he once was, but he's not a joke, bro. He's just not a joke. He's not a joke. He's still a good fighter. He's a decent fighter. I'm going with Talbot here. I'm going with Talbot. Talbot looked so good in his last fight, showed so much improvement in his last fight. He's now had multiple camps for a grappler and for a dangerous grappler in his last fight. Cejudo's not a dangerous grappler, but he is he's an Olympic gold medalist, right? He's an Olympic wrestler. Henry Cejudo is an Olympic wrestler, which could be a lot of problems for Talbot. But like I said, Talbot looked phenomenal in his last fight. He did get taken down, but he was able to get back up to his feet. At this point in his career, I don't know if I trust Henry Cejudo's entries, and I don't know if I trust his ability to hold you down. He wasn't able to do it against a guy like Song Yadong. I know Song Yadong is a more proven fighter than Talbot, but Talbot's about to have a 6.5-inch reach advantage, 6-inch height advantage. Who's got some great power, great accuracy. Now, he does leave his chin in the air, but Cejudo is a decent striker, but he's not going to crack. I'd be very surprised if he cracked Peyton Talbot. Okay? I also don't know if I trust Henry Cejudo's chin. He's getting old, man. Henry Cejudo's getting old. He's pretty much fighting for a contract. He's saying that he's going to get cut if he loses. Talbot's got the momentum back on his side after a loss 2 fights ago. I think Henry Cejudo will be able to get Peyton Talbot down. But I trust, dude, what I saw in his last fight against Felipe Lima, I like Peyton Talbot's ability to get back up to his feet. I like the urgency. And I like the fact that he's going to get in your face on the pressure. He's going to get in Cejudo's face. He's going to make Cejudo uncomfortable. Maybe force Cejudo into a bad shot, be able to sprawl. Peyton Talbot also has crazy power in his hands, bro. That's just the fact of the matter. He's got good hands. The striking, it definitely needs improvements, but this is a good test for him. But he can crack, bro. He is accurate. He can crack. The striking defense, like I said, is not great. but he's not going to be worried about Cejudo throwing back at him. If Cejudo were to knock him out, bro, that would be crazy, bro. That would be crazy. The UFC would need Tyra to win. Miranda already fought Pantoja too many times. Facts. Talbot by TKO round 2. I like that. That might be my actually no. That's close to my exact pick, but I got Talbot by TKO as well, bro. Cejudo's chin isn't that great. Olympic wrestler versus guy who showed improvements. That's funny, bro. That's funny. True, but MMA grappling versus we've seen Olympic wrestlers. We've seen an Olympic wrestler like Henry Cejudo get dominated when it comes to mixed martial arts grappling. What happened? Where was the Olympic wrestling when he was fighting Merab? Now, I get Merab's a different case, a different story, but where was the Olympic wrestling when he was fighting Merab? He didn't like an Olympic wrestler. He got ragdolled. He got picked up. Merab was picking up Henry Cejudo, talking to Dana White, talking to Mark Zuckerberg, while he had Cejudo on his shoulder like he was a little kid. He's got the sweeps, he's got the trips up his sleeve, he's got the crafty takedowns, right? I think he can take Talbot down. I just think Talbot is going to get back up to his feet, get on the pressure, and I think he's going to be in Cejudo's face, and I think he's going to crack him. Not like that, guys. Not like that. But yeah, I'm going with Talbot, bro. The odds are a little crazy. I'm not gonna lie. I think the odds should be closer. I gotta check this though. When's Cejudo's last win? He has not got a win since he retired, did he? He's also, yes, he's an Olympic wrestler. It's hard to break a losing streak in the UFC. Now, granted, he's fought Song Yadong, Merab, and Aljo. But even the Aljo fight was 2.5 years ago. So, also landed 0 takedowns on Song Yadong. So, where's the Olympic wrestling against Song Yadong? Talbot, in a way, is a similar style to Song Yadong, kind of. Even then, bro, that fight was in February. It's still just another, what's the math there? 10 months removed from Cejudo's last fight, bro. He's just aging. He's on the decline. He's on his way out. It's a fighter who's on the decline versus a fighter who's on the incline. Peyton Talbot, I think, is going to get this one done, bro. His last win was, oh my gosh. Yeah, guys, here's Henry Cejudo's last win in the UFC was during COVID. Let's think about that for a second. It was against Dominic Cruz, who was probably 62 years old at the time, in 2020. So there's that. There's that. Again, Henry Cejudo is a great fighter. He's a good fighter now. He was a great fighter. I think Peyton Talbot's a good fighter. I think it's a bad matchup for Cejudo. The reach is going to be a problem. I really like the pressure of Talbot. Cejudo is slick. I think this actually will be a close fight. I think Peyton Talbot's going to get a knockout in round 3. This is what I think. Actually, guys, look, just based on the odds, I don't like it that Talbot's almost a minus 300 favorite since he was the underdog in his last fight against Felipe Lima. That's how crazy odds makers and UFC fans flip, bro, from one fight to the next. This is crazy value on Cejudo. I'm just going to throw that out there. But I do think Peyton Talbot is good enough to get this one done. I think he's got enough power. He's explosive enough to get back up, not get held down by Cejudo. And I think this is going to be the last time we see Henry Cejudo in the octagon against Peyton Talbot. Now, it is a big step down. I'm not going to say big step down in competition, but it is a step down in competition versus Song Yadong to Peyton Talbot. But I like Talbot's chances here. I do like Talbot's chances here. He's more of a sniper than Song Yadong, to be honest. I think he's more of a sniper than Song Yadong. What's going on, Ryan? What's going on? Talbot decision? I could see this being a split decision. I could see Cejudo racking up some control time. Talbot getting the better of the exchanges on the feet. You know, we could be in store for a crafty Cejudo performance. That just is the reality of it. But I'm trusting Peyton Talbot here. So how old is Cejudo? Cejudo's 38, by the way, guys. But yeah, I'm going with Talbot. Ryan, since you just joined, bro, we're just talking about our picks. As of right now, I've got Merab decision, Pantoja submission. I'm expecting it to be early. Tatsuro Taira decision, Peyton Talbot TKO, and the main card opener, Jan Blachowicz, who's 74 years old, against evil Anthony Smith, who is somehow winning these fights, bro. He's coming off a KO after KO, but like he doesn't look good, bro. I don't know if I'm the only one seeing that. Bogdan Guskov is good. He's one of these fighters that is good, but doesn't look good, I guess. Bogdan Guskov has been in trouble in every single one of his fights, just about, except for his most recent performance. I don't think he was in much trouble there. But Bogdan Guskov has either been tagged or taken down. He's been in some sort of trouble in every single one of his fights, and he just somehow finds a way to pull it off, which maybe that's a sign of being a great fighter. Bogdan Guskov is a good fighter. This is a weird spot, man. This is a weird spot because Jan Blachowicz, when is the last time Jan Blachowicz was in the win column? Let's figure that one out. Jan Blachowicz does not have a win since 2022 against Rakic, which was an injury, I believe. But striker versus striker, you look at Blachowicz's last fight. He had a razor-close fight with Carlos Ulberg, who is about to be fighting for the title. Stand-up only. If you're simply looking at that fight, do you think Bogdan Guskov is a better striker than a Carlos Ulberg? I know styles make fights. Every matchup is different. I would not say that Guskov is a better striker than Carlos Ulberg. I think Carlos Ulberg would chin Bogdan Guskov. So based on that knowledge, which is pretty simple and straight to the point, I think Jan Blachowicz is first of all, more experienced fighter in general and striker. I think Jan Blachowicz has power to crack. He's got that Polish power. That's the last thing to go. If you're an old man in the octagon, most of the time you'll still carry that same power for as long as you can. It's different than like speed or whatever. I think Jan beat Ulberg. I think there was an argument that Jan beat Ulberg as well, and the odds would be so much different. If Jan would have just simply got the nod against Ulberg, think about what these odds would look like. Jan would be a minus 250 or something because he lost a razor-close decision to Ulberg. Now, is there a world where Bogdan Guskov chins Blachowicz? Yes, of course. I think Blachowicz is still, I know he's old, he's still one of the better strikers in the division. I think he's got some nasty leg kicks that we've seen before. I don't know if Guskov's going to have an answer for that. I think Guskov does not have the greatest striking defense as well. I think he tends to leave his chin out there sometimes. And I honestly just think Jan Blachowicz is going to have a crafty vet performance and pick apart Bogdan Guskov. Now, whether or not he gets caught in the process of that, that's going to determine the fight, in my opinion. I think Jan Blachowicz was able to stay safe against Pereira. He was able to stay safe against a sniper in Magomed Ankalaev. He was able to stay safe against Carlos Ulberg. These are three strikers that are, I'm not going to say they're all more dangerous than Guskov, but they're all three better strikers as a whole than Bogdan Guskov. So, based on that knowledge, also Jan Blachowicz is going to have the reach advantage. I think he's just going to tear apart Guskov's legs. I think he also has the takedown threat on his side if he needs it. Jan Blachowicz, by any means, is not a phenomenal grappler, but he has it in his bag of tricks. If he feels like he's in trouble, which I don't even think he will, but I think he will at some point mix in a takedown. I think he will be able to rack up control time and wear out Bogdan Guskov, who has Bogdan Guskov been to a decision? I got to look this up real quick. But Jan Blachowicz has 5-round experience, which we've seen him gas out before, but it was at altitude against Pereira. That was a 3-rounder, though. But we've seen him go 5 rounds before. Bogdan Guskov has never even been to a 3rd round. He's been in trouble in just about every single one of his fights. He even got subbed in his very first UFC fight. Now, it was against Volkan Oezdemir. Guys, is Jan Blachowicz submission at play here? Is that live? I'm playing Jan Blachowicz. If he subbed Guskov, I would be surprised. But I think Jan Blachowicz will go to his bag of tricks. I think, dude, looking at this, Guskov has been taken down he's been taken down by Billy Elikana, who almost subbed him, taken down by Ryan Spann, taken down by Volkan Oezdemir. I think Jan Blachowicz, if he needs to, can take down Bogdan Guskov. I think Blachowicz is also gonna have the advantage on the feet. I think he's gonna pick him apart. I think the leg kicks are going to be key, bro. I know I sound like Joe Rogan. I think the leg kicks. Look at what Jan Blachowicz did to Magomed Ankalaev. I think he's going to tear up Guskov's legs. I think it's going to be a wake-up call for Guskov. It's going to be I'm not going to say a fraud check, but sort of a fraud check. Going to kind of realize that Guskov's not as good as maybe some people thought he was. I think the experience is going to come into play here. Jan Blachowicz didn't take much damage in the Olberg fight. He's had plenty of time to recover from the surgery and all that. I get it. He's falling apart. He's old. I think we're going to see a crafty vet performance. Give me Jan Blachowicz by decision. That's what I'm going with, guys. See Guskov winning a very boring, close 29-28 decision. I don't know if I see Guskov winning a decision, to be honest. I don't think he's technical enough to win a decision, especially a striking battle against Jan Blachowicz. That's what I think. I don't think Guskov is technical enough to outstrike Jan Blachowicz. Now, I do think that it's possible he could knock him out or hurt him, especially with the reach advantage for Blachowicz as well, bro. I think Guskov's going to have a lot of trouble. And I also could see a world where Guskov gasses out. Definitely overexerts himself. That's very, very possible as well, especially if Blachowicz mixes in the grappling. That's what I think. You think Jan beat Olberg? We would have Olberg versus Guskov and Poatan versus Jan too. Yeah. What are the odds for Merab versus Jan since I wasn't here? Bro. If you had to guess, just look, before I reveal it, you don't have to type it. You can just think in your head. If you had to guess what the odds were, what would you say? Okay. Now I'm about to reveal it. Okay. I'm about to reveal it. I think it's about what you might think. Minus 485. Maybe you wouldn't think it'd be that much, but it kind of makes sense based on what we've seen from Merab. Minus 485 for Merab, plus 370 for Petr Yan. So, yeah, in other words, Vegas really thinks that Merab's going to win this fight. They feel extremely confident Merab's going to win this. But these are my picks, boys. These are the picks for the main card. We're going to run through them one more time. Jan used the wrestling to nuffle and dominate Izzy. Yes, he did. He did dominate Izzy with the wrestling. He has it. He also was a lot more physical than Israel Adesanya was at that point in time, coming up to light heavyweight, also coming in under the weight limit. That was just odd. But yeah, he did. He has it in the back pocket for sure. He definitely has it. I don't think he has crazy ground and pound. I don't think he even has a submission threat, really. But I also don't think Guskov is that great on the ground at even surviving. I'm talking about even surviving. I'm not talking about getting up to his feet. I'm talking about even the survivability of Guskov is kind of sus, bro. He just gave up his neck on a silver platter to Volkan Oezdemir. Now, I get it. It was his debut fight. He almost got choked out by Billy Elikana. Also, go rewatch that fight if you want to. We'd be talking about Guskov in a very different way if he would have lost that fight, which I believe was Billy Elikana on like 2 days' notice or something like that. Almost got the job done. Yeah, Guskov almost lost that fight to a guy on 2 days' notice. What are the... Oh, I already read that. I could see ground and pound finished by Jan. I don't think it's... I mean, maybe. We'll see. Also, Jan's in a... If Jan Blachowicz loses this fight, though, he's in a position where he might just be done. But I think it's one of the most winnable fights for him in the division. Like, looking across the UFC rankings, this is one of the most easiest fights for Blachowicz, to be honest, bro. Alex, he's not beating Pereira. He's not beating Yuri at this point in time. He's not beating Ankalaev. We saw what happened with Olberg. He almost won that fight. I think Blachowicz could potentially even beat Khalil Roundtree right now. I think that would be an interesting matchup. I think he still beats Jamal Hill. Blachowicz, I think, is still good, bro. I think he's still good. He's had some unfortunate matchmaking. He's like literally just meaning he's fought Pereira, he's fought Ankalaev, the past 2 champions. And who else did he fight? He beat Glover. Who did he fight? Who did he fight after that? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Who did Jan Blachowicz fight? Who am I missing? Pereira, Ankalaev. Oh, Olberg. I was just talking about that. Olberg. So he's fought basically the last 3 title contenders. Olberg hasn't got it yet, but it looks like he will be. The only person he has not fought is Yuri, which would be an interesting fight. A fight that we should have seen years ago. But yeah. I think Jan Blachowicz is very, very skilled. I think he's a great striker still, even at, I think he's actually 42. It's also different being 42 in the bantamweight division rather than the light heavyweight division. You see older fighters typically in the heavyweight classes, like Derek Lewis, guys, he's 40. Randy Couture was old. That was a different game back then, but you get my point, guys. You get my point. I'm also extremely confident Merab will win. He should win, bro. You made me change my mind. Uh-oh. I see Guskov gassing out, getting either taken down or knocked out, and Jan finishes it from there. Actually, you know what? I like that point. Talking about Guskov gassing out, I think that's a real possibility. I could see a finish, a Guskov gas out finish. Now, whether that's like, I could see it kind of being like a pity stoppage, like a Blachowicz is tearing up his legs and then decides to mix in a takedown. Guskov's gassed because Blachowicz is just kind of laying on him, not landing anything threatening, but landing just these little shots. Guskov can't get up, just kind of panics down there, claustrophobia, and then just kind of covers up. Herb Dean just waves it off because he feels bad. I can see that. That would have to be definitely later in the fight, but I'm just going to stick it out with Blachowicz decision. Maybe we see some bad visuals in round 3 for Bogdan Guskov. Like maybe we do see him gas but still survive. I don't know, man. Evil Anthony Smith, bro. Can he continue this streak? If you look at his competition, bro, like he beat Nikita Krylov, which Nikita Krylov was, I still think it was a tough test. Nikita Krylov at one point was a very good contender. But when's the last time Nikita Krylov has won? He beat Ryan Spann in 2023. Ryan Spann, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan Spann. So, like, he has wins, but, like, which one of these wins are you actually super impressed by? Krylov's his best win, obviously, but Krylov coming off a first-round KO. Also, guys, think about this, okay? Nikita Krylov should have never turned around this quick. He got KO'd brutally by Dominic Reyes in April. Turned around and fought a dangerous Bogdan Guskov in July. This man went unconscious, and exactly 3 months later, he's unconscious again. This man gave his brain 0 time to recover. What did we think was going to happen? I remember this. Krylov was the favorite in this fight. We picked Guskov by KO at like plus 250 or something. What did we think was going to happen? Krylov, who desperately wanted to fight 10 days after getting slimed out, basically. That's what it is. Herb waving off a fight early in a sentence is crazy. You're right. I picked the wrong ref there. Herb waving the fight off way too late is what I should have said. You just like the stream. I appreciate you, bro. We're finna get out of here, bro. The prelims looking... I actually haven't even looked at the prelims, not once. Grant Dawson, Manuel Torres. Torres is good, bro. So is Dawson. That'll be interesting. Chris Duncan, Terrence McKinney. I think Duncan gets that one done. Vittori versus Bruno Ferreira on the early prelims. Jalen Turner, Edson Barbosa on the early prelims. Oh my gosh. They think Tarantula did not come to play around. These fights, is it just me or should both of these fights be up here? What? Am I missing something? Mansour Abdul Malik? Chircoli's back, guys. I thought he got cut. Y'all remember when he fought Shara and looked horrible? Yep, me too. That's funny. We're about to get out of here, though, guys. Y'all, I appreciate y'all. Y'all like the stream, man. Y'all like the stream. We're about to get out of here, though. Jalen Turner making his return, guys. I thought I witnessed his last ever UFC fight at UFC 313. Would have been his last outing. He said he randomly retired. That was weird. He got subbed by Ignacio and randomly retired. But I guess he's back. I guess he's back, and he's a massive favorite. I don't know if they're thinking he's going to go on a title run again or what. But I will be pulling for Jalen Turner, actually, in this one. Bruno Ferreira, man, that's my guy. That is my guy. I think he's on a win streak. No, he got subbed by, what's his name? The guy that Strickland beat. Abus Magomedov. He's on a 2-fight win streak, though. He beat Armin Petrosian by submission, subbed Jackson McVeigh in the first round. So he's got a little bit of momentum. Can he defeat a Marvin Vettori who's got a granite chin? This is actually a very interesting fight. This is a very interesting fight. Bruno's low-key a powerhouse, bro. He's little, he's compact, but he's got some crazy power. He even has a spinning elbow knockout on the record. I hope Bruno gets that one done, man. Marvin Vettori, imagine being ranked, bro. Imagine being ranked and sent to the early prelims, bro. The UFC is ruthless. UFC is ruthless, guys. We're going to go through them one more time, my predictions, and we're going to get out of here. I've got Merab Dvalishvili by decision. I'm feeling like, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm feeling 9.8. That's my confidence level. You know what? Actually, I'm feeling 10 out of 10 confident that Merab's going to win this fight, okay? I'm going to say that's a 10 out of 10 confidence level, all right? Pantoja, Van. We're going Pantoja, guys. I think Pantoja's going to finish this fight early. I think people are going to question Joshua Van and say, oh, he wasn't ready, or, oh, he actually is a fraud, whatever they're going to say. I think Pantoja's grappling is on another level, something that Joshua Van's never seen, and I don't think he's ready for it. I don't think he has. I think he needs more years to prepare for a guy like Pantoja. Not just another fight camp, but more years under his belt. Because at the end of the day, Van's a great boxer. He's a great striker. He seems to have pretty good takedown defense, but we're talking, look, we said this multiple times, but one of the best grapplers in the UFC versus a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu blue belt. Give me Pantoja by round 1 submission. Okay, Brandon Moreno, Tatsuro Taira. This is a toss-up. I'm going with the youth. I'm going with Tatsuro Taira. I can't even say pull the upset because he's the favorite, barely. But I'm going to say I'm going to go with the young, inexperienceder prospect. I'm going with the aura, the Japanese aura of Tatsuro Taira, the anime plot armor. I think he's going to take out Brandon Moreno. I'm not going to say take out. I think he's going to win a close decision. But we definitely could see Brandon Moreno pull off a classic performance there. Give me Peyton Talbot by TKO in a scrap against Henry Cejudo. I think this is going to be competitive. I don't think it's going to be one-sided whatsoever. If anything, I could see Cejudo having a lot of success and Peyton Talbot finding the rally late. But I think Talbot's power, his pressure, his ability to get back up to his feet, at least in his last fight that we saw, I think he'll be able to get back up, get on the pressure. I think he's going to be able to hurt Cejudo. And ultimately, I think we'll see a ground and pound TKO stoppage. I think Talbot will drop him. I don't think Talbot's going to cold KO Henry. I'm not going to lie, I'm not at all a Henry Cejudo fan, but if he were to slime out Cejudo badly, I would feel a little bad. I would feel a little weird. But I can envision Peyton Talbot in round 2 or 3 landing a right hand, sitting down Henry Cejudo and just following up with a couple follow-up shots, sealing the deal. Maybe even Cejudo protests the stoppage, but moving on. Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov, a.k.a. Evil Anthony Smith. I'm going to go with a crafty vet performance from Jan Blachowicz here. We're going to go Jan Blachowicz here, bro. We're going to go Jan Blachowicz here. I think he's going to low-key outsmart Guskov on the feet. I think he's going to be too crafty, too vetty. I think Jan Blachowicz is going to tear up the legs. I think the leg kick's going to be a big part in this fight. I think he's going to sort of set traps for Guskov. I think Guskov might even overextend, maybe run into a check hook or a counter from Jan Blachowicz. I think Jan Blachowicz can also mix in the grappling. I think Jan Blachowicz doesn't have the best gas tank of all time, but I think he's got a better, more proven gas tank than Guskov. I think Guskov could start to wear out in round 2, round 3. So I'm going with Jan Blachowicz here, bro. I'm going with Jan Blachowicz. That's what I'm thinking. Jan Blachowicz by decision. So Jan decision, Talbot TKO, Tyra decision, Pantoja sub, Merab decision. Those are my official predictions, boys. We're about to sweep this card. Hockey, we're about to sweep this card. What we thinking, guys? What we thinking? We're finna get out of here now. We're finna get out of here. UFC girl, what's going on? What's going on? I got Jan by decision. Me too. Jan Blachowicz by decision. Same here. I was proud of this pick too. I was proud of this pick because I thought Guskov was gonna be the favorite based on recent, KOs and stuff, even though they were against bums. But nope. Blachowicz is still barely hanging on as the favorite, and that's what we're going with. Dang, I guess we're riding with every single favorite on the main. I guess we are. And that's fine. I'm fine with it. Look, this is not something I don't look at the odds to make my decision. If you're doing that, bro, because you'll find times where UFC odds makers are just dumb sometimes. Like, I'm trying to think of an example. One prime example right off the top of my head I can think of is way back in the day when Michael Venom Page, not way back in the day, literally earlier this year, but when Michael Venom Page was fighting Shara Bullet Magomedov. Shara Bullet was a minus 200 and something over MVP. And I made multiple videos talking about this line is just wrong. That Shara Bullet's he's the favorite because of hype, because of name value. People think he's cool. I said, you break down this fight. How does Shara Bullet beat Michael Venom Page? So just because the odds, all that to say, just because the odds suggest somebody to win, doesn't always mean they're going to win. In this case, I'm picking every single favorite, not because they're every single favorite, but because that's who I actually think is going to win. Okay? I'm not going to change up my pick just to throw in an underdog on the card. People comment all the time like, bro, whoa, you're picking all the favorites. Cool, bro, you picked a favorite. At the end of the day, it's a fist fight, bro. If a plus 500 underdog wins, the same type of people are going to go, bro, obviously he was going to win. Bro, you didn't know that the plus 500 underdog was going to win, bro? You're a casual, man. You're casual, bro. You're casual. But with that being said, those are my official predictions, bro. I'm feeling a sweep. Honestly, I feel like we really can go 5 for 5 here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 5 fights. Anyway, I'm hoping I think this card will over-deliver the expectations because there aren't much expectations here. Well, you know what? Let's actually do something new. I'm going to try to predict some performance bonuses or fight of the night bonuses. Performance bonus is going to go to Pantoja. I think fight of the night. Oh gosh, I'm between these two. Fight of the night is going to go to Cejudo Talbot. That's my pick. That's my pick, guys. Fight of the night is going to go to Henry Cejudo and Peyton Talbot. Give me Pantoja with a performance bonus. I want to say Merab, but at this point, like the UFC kind of expects him to dominate. You know what? We'll just do it. We'll do it. Why not? I'll say performance bonus from Merab and Pantoja. Fight of the night, Cejudo, Talbot. Those are my predictions, guys. All right. All right, guys. We're finna head out of here. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Like the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate y'all one more time.